Hey everybody, welcome back. We're going to do a quick one today about saxophone intonation. And I will start today's session by asking you all to stop using your tuner. You're like going, what, Dave? Stop using my what? You're talking about intonation and you don't want me to use a tuner? Yeah, that's right. We'll get to that in just a minute. Hey, my name is Dave. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm glad to have you here. All right. Comments, of course, are always welcome. Questions, and if you'd like to reach out to me and ask some further questions or even discuss the potential of doing a session together, I'll leave my contact information in the description below. All right, so back to the no tuner intonation lesson. Okay, here's a problem with using a tuner. All right, and I'm going to give you two circumstances in which you're allowed to use your tuner. But the main problem with using a tuner on an instrument like the saxophone, which is essentially squirrely, is that you tune with your eyes. And tuning is so relative. Now, unless you're happy just playing by yourself and sitting, maybe out on your front porch and just blasting the neighbors and doing what you do, that's cool. But if you want to start playing with people in a moving, a fluid environment like a band, I want you to stop using your tuner and I want you to start tuning using your ears, okay? Now, here are the two conditions in which you can use a tuner. Your high school marching band and your band leader walks around with a tuner and gets everybody in tune on the field. You didn't have any choice in that. Yeah, you got to do that, okay? The other condition in which you can use a tuner, and there are marvelous tuners out there, wonderful. I've, in fact, for years have used the Tonal energy tuner, TE tuner. That does you get a lot of bang for your $4 or $5. Great tool under these circumstances, okay? When you get your horn, you say the horn is new to you, all right? I want you to pick a note and tune to it. Let's say concert, how about A, which is F sharp on an alto sax, B on a tenor sax. Get yourself in tune, get the horn warmed up, do whatever you have to do. And then what I'd like you to do is list all the notes on the saxophone and go through every single one of them, every single note on your saxophone, and see if it's in tune or out of tune. Now, you're going to find that your horn has got notes that will always be out of tune, no matter what. It's just endemic to the instrument. It's endemic to woodwind instruments. It happens to flute players. It happens to bass clarinetists, whatever, There's always going to be a couple of notes, excuse me, that will be out of tune. And you need to know that so that when you get to those notes, you're not just going to blast through them out of tune. You're going to correct for them, okay? All right. Correcting is an interesting concept. We do that with our air. In fact, that's what keeps a saxophone in tune, is the quality of your air stream. Loose embouchure, no, you cannot chew a note up into tune by tightening your, and we do that. We all tighten our embouchures now, don't we? I'm talking to you, right? No, you got to stop doing that. Really loose embouchure and bring it back up with your air. All right, let's just pick any note. How about, no, I just loosened my embouchure so the note drops. I'm going to push it back into tune with my air. I'm doing that with my air support, not with my embouchure, all right? You chewing on the mouthpiece to get the note in tune is not going to work. It's just not going to. And it's very common up in the high end. Now, I'm going to make a couple of assumptions, and one is that your saxophone is in good working order, right? Top to bottom, it's in good shape. Got good pads, you got a good mouthpiece, reed, everything seals, all that, blah, 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 right? If not, get to a repair person and have your sax, have it gone over. Now, the budget horns typically will play in tune in one octave or the other. It's not uncommon to have you be able to tune up in the lower octave, but the top octave goes crazy, or vice versa. Get everything in the top octave tuned up, and the bottom of the horn is not going to be in tune. That's very common, and that's what you pay for when you start buying into better horns. You start dropping some money on a Yamaha, higher. And I'm not preaching that you should buy a Yamaha, but the higher end horns that are made are typically in tune through the range of the horn, and that's something that you want to look for when you're buying a horn. Now that's another thing that you can do is you can take your tuner to the music store and you can play the scale and you can walk and look and see if the horn plays in tune through both octaves. That's highly desirable. Okay, I'm playing a Con a 6M at the time. They were the best horns ever made, and of course that was this is a 70-year-old horn. They've gotten a lot better since then, but I still love this old horn, and it works for me. So back to the lesson. I know you've been wondering this whole time when I'm gonna drop the other shoe's gonna drop. I'm gonna say, well, how do you tune in practice? Why don't you tune with your ears? Now you can use a drone, drone. There are plenty of drones on YouTube, right? And I use the cello drone that you can find on YouTube, and I use that, and it's in all 12 keys. And you can play, you can do your scales, you can do your chromatic work, you can do all kinds of work, and you will use your ear. If you have an in-home pianist, right? Most of us don't, but you might. You can have your pianist start to drop a few notes here and there, assuming the piano is in tune. Keyboards are always in tune, of course. Maybe you have a keyboard. Play some notes and, use the sustain pedal and play along to those notes or hold those notes. There are a number of resources you can buy. I get nothing for telling you this. I'm not a salesman, but this really helped me a lot. This is Greg Fishman, all right, jazz phrasing for saxophone. I think he put out 3 volumes. There's a play along, and the play along is awesome. You can play along with him, and again, you're moving through the horn, you're moving through octaves, and it really helps you to learn to play in tune. Playing with a band, again, is a fluid environment, right? And intonation then becomes an issue of split-second changes. If you don't have the bread to get, the kinds of resources, Abersold puts out a number of books that you can play along with. I mean, that may not be the essential essence of the book, but there's a track that you can play along to. You can play along with piano leads or whatever it is. If you don't have that, just turn your radio on. You got a radio, I know you do. Just turn the radio on and tune it to whatever stage. Just play along, right? You will develop, or YouTube. You can find all kinds of resources on YouTube. I mentioned just a minute ago using it's completely lost my train of thought there. Oh, the drones. Drone packages are wonderful, but you can also, just find your favorite saxophone player, your favorite vocalist, pony up some Frank Sinatra. Cost you nothing. Just put it on and play along, all right? Match the melody. You will learn so much about playing in tune, in the moment, in the flow, and with your instrument. And, of course, which notes are out of tune. So if you got questions, I truly would love it if you'd reach out. And I'd love it if you would share your process in the comments below. That's the beauty of the YouTube nation that we're creating here and participating in, is that people will write in and they will share their process, and we all learn from you. So thank you so much for being here. Again, I'll put my contact information in the description below, and hopefully we'll get a chance to speak in person. If you leave comments, I do try to respond as quickly as possible, and I will look forward to seeing you again. Well, I don't actually see you, but being together here in this format again. Next time we can do this. Thanks for being here. Play your horn, have some fun, do good work, be kind to each other, and I will see you again. Take care.